Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be tackling this bad boy. It's been a long time, but we're going to be tackling the water pump and the old harmonic balancer, and then probably tomorrow we're going to tackle the torque converter and all that good stuff. So we still haven't fixed the stuff, but we did put that back on there. I mean, it's just sitting there. It's not bolted down. It's actually zip tied. But yeah, let's get started on this bad boy. Gotta take all this junk off and we'll let you get back to you. But yeah, that. Well, we got the fan shroud and hose and fan stuff off. We're taking off the belt right now. Just need that right there, and we gotta take this off. Got the old pulley off. One of the studs actually came out of the water pump, but oh my goodness. That is not supposed to sound like that. That's junk. Now I'll work on taking that water pump off. All right, so if you have a 96 with an electronic injection pump, so these three bolts right here are the same size, and they come out of here, here, and here. And then you got these actual bolts, those are nuts. They go in the compressor, which is here and here. And then you have this longer bolt here with the washer. That goes in a bolt hole way back here, underneath here. And then you can just move the whole vacuum pump out of the way if you haven't deleted your vacuum pump. Right now I'm gonna work on getting those two bolts out. This one, and this one, because I know some people say take off the pulley there, but I didn't get a puller for that, so I'm not going to do that. I can just stick a wrench on there, no big deal. And I think there's a bolt way back here, this bracket right here that goes all the way back. I think there's a bolt back there, and then we got to work on taking some other stuff off. And yep. All right, so I doubt you can see this, but let's see here. There's a bolt right back here. As you can see, there's only one bolt in the frame right there. That's where it's at for that bracket on the back of that power steering pump, so that we can get that bad boy off. It's just right back there. You can see it. Just look, just look up in here. Boom, there it is. You gotta take that off. So actually, if you look up inside here, you can actually see the bolt I'm talking about. It's right there. Whoops. That one right there. You gotta take that off so that way that bracket will move. All right, so I finally got this bracket off. What I had to do was get like every extension I had and reach through this fender well, and I got it. Boom. Don't know what's up with the radiator. Never seen one that's cut like that. Anyway, got the bracket off so that way we got the access to that bolt. And actually, this bolt here that goes in here is actually shorter than the other two that went on the actual water pump. So remember that. Oh hey, and just for future reference, if you're changing your thing and you see like a humongous nest down here in your radiator, you might want to like pull off these brackets here and push it out of the way and get it all out, because that was kind of junk. Actually, I took it off because I noticed it because this bolt fell down inside. Okay, so when you take these two bolts out of the water pump right here, the one in the bottom is slightly longer than the one in the top. So the longer one goes in the bottom, the shorter one goes in the top. Working on taking that hose off right now. All right, so there was a couple bolts. These two bolts were there and there. Took out that water hose down there. All these studs, which I think were here, here, and here. Took out those three. They're the same length, so don't worry about that. And now I'm trying to find the last bolt because I won't come off. All right, so you got to take these two bolts off of this old timing cover here. And these two here don't have washers. And then this one that's over here has got a washer. So just remember that. A lot of bolts. You don't need to see that. And then we're going to take off this bolt there. And then I think we'll be good. Once you remove those bolts, these bolts here that hold on the filler neck, then you got to remove these studs right here. Remove those studs, and then there's another bolt right back here. You could take off all this junk, but no, just reach back here and get it with a wrench. So once you get that last bolt out the top there, then the old water pump comes out, and you can see your gears there, and it's good stuff right there. Make sure nothing big falls down inside there. Get down in your oil a little bit. So there it is right there. There's that piece of junk. Real nice piece of junk. Got to take these bolts off here, get this cover off, and then you can clean both surfaces, and then you can get either a timing cover gasket, which is probably what I'm going to do because that's what's on here, and I don't like using that stuff. That stuff's junk. I don't like working with that. And then you can clean off the other side of it, and then you can use the water pump gasket on the front of that. Get her done. Oh, I'm going to be taking that off too. Well, it's a new day. Got the harmonic balancer puller installer. We got the old pulley off and the harmonic balancer off, and you can see that the stuff is coming out there. Kind of gross. And then this one's really not that bad, but it does have some cracks here and there. And we are in the process of installing the new one right now. Yep, that's where we're at. Oh, I had this rag in here and I turned it over. The rag is, that gear is so tight that it ate that rag alive. Like, look at that. It was like That's crazy. That's really awesome to know that they're that tight. Well, I got the new balancer and pulley back on there. Got the old plate taken off the old water pump. Got her cleaned up about as good as I could get it. It could be better, but it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it'll work. Now we're work on getting this put back on the water pump. Well, the new water pump, that one's junk. And getting it put back on the water pump with the bolts right there that are on the ground. You know, I'm real professional. I leave my bolts everywhere. Got this here tarp here because I don't want to see the sun, you know what I'm saying? And then once we get that back on there, then we'll slap it back on the engine because we got that cleaned up pretty good. And then we'll make sure and take the rag out. That'd be a good idea. Yep. All right, we'll get you back to there. Well, I know I didn't show it, but we got the surfaces cleaned on here. We got the gasket, the water pump gasket on in the back, and the timing cover gasket. And this is probably not recommended by some mechanics, but I hate putting gaskets on dry. So what I actually do is I take some red grease, which is like, it's Lucas grease. Well, actually that's not. It's actually just Super Tech. Anyway, wipe it on both sides. That makes me feel a little bit better. All right, well, I know I didn't show you, but I got the thing cleaned. Well, actually I did show you that, but I got the water pump gasket put on there and the timing cover gasket put on there. And these bolts torque to 17 foot-pounds. There's not a sequence for it, I don't think. And if you wonder what's on there, it's just red grease on both sides of this gasket because I hate, for one, it holds the gasket in place, and two, I don't like putting gaskets on dry. Anyway, and down here, if you guys are wondering how to get, well, even the pulley bolts off or the crank bolt off, what you do is, well, for one, you can pretty much get this off without it. So when you go to break the crank bolt, what you do is you take one of these bolts here and you put it through a chain and put it back on there, screw it in there all the way. And then you take another bolt and put it in like up here or something with a chain through it. And so that way when you go to loosen the crank bolt, the chain holds the motor in place because it will spin over because it's tight on there. I don't have a torque wrench that goes up to 200 foot-pounds, which I think is what that crank bolt's supposed to be torqued to. So when you put it back on, just be like, yeah, it's tight. Okay, when you put it back on, that's what I did. Yep, so let's get that done. Okay, actually one thing to notice when you're putting the water pump back on, I noticed that this stud was longer than these other two. Well, I mean, this stud and the other one that's on there is longer. And so I had to look back. This stud here actually is the one that goes over here by the water pump. And these two longer ones are the ones that go over here. And then you put these two studs in up here, and then the bolt back there, the bolt here, and then a bolt here, and then a bolt there. And then you have the bolt that goes in here and here, and then the two on the bottom. Let's get those done. Actually, I just forgot something. You're supposed to put the hose on the water pump and then put it up in there before you do that. But I didn't do that, but I did buy a new hose because I ruined my other one taking it off. So hopefully you can just work it up on there. I think it would be easier to push it up on there and then, I mean, like, have it on the water pump and then put it up on there when you put the water pump in there. But if you mess up like me, then you can do that. And actually, I forgot that people say you're supposed to take that the pulley off here so you can get to that bolt there. But I already installed the pulley and I don't feel like taking it off, so I'm just gonna have to mess with getting it on, which I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. And also, one thing is, when I took this off, this one bolt that went right here, right there, had a washer on it. I don't know if it matters, but that's, I'm gonna put it back on there just for reference. All right, so we got her on there. We got the hose put on there, which was kind of a pain. It wasn't too bad, honestly. Okay, so these top two studs, this, and then that bolt back here, and then this bolt here, and then these two bolts on the bottom of the water pump. All right, sorry about that. My tarp attacked me, hit me right in the eyeball. So as I was saying, those bolts that I just stated out, those are torqued to, I think it's 17 foot-pounds. Same as what the back of the water pump was. And then this stud, these two bolts here, and these two studs over here are torqued to 31 foot-pounds. And then once you do that, you just tighten these up the way you feel. All right, so after I dropped this stupid nut down there and couldn't find it and had to take the skid plate off, I found it anyway. So you put this bracket back on, you put those two bolts in there, which actually, oh, the bottom one is in there. I haven't tightened these, and then you got that bolt there, and then the bolt that's down here, which I showed you take off. Put all those back on. And these two nuts, put those back on. I'm gonna show you a little trick. See this pulley right here? It's got holes in it. Yep, you can put your socket, one of those holes, well, if I can, and get it on that bolt down there so you don't have to use a wrench. So awesome. And then, if you remember, this bolt right here that has the washer, it goes right there. that's where that goes. And then these 2 bolts go in the compressor. As I drop that other one, a piece of junk. Oh, there it is. Ow, piece of junk. Yeah, put that. Wow, my camera work is amazing, but you know, you guys, you get it. I put off doing this water pump for like around 9.5 months because I didn't want to do it. It's not that bad. Just do it. It's really, you're just taking off parts and putting them back on. It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you have to take off, but it's really not even that big a deal. And while you're doing your water pump, you might as well do the harmonic balancer and pulley. You can save the pulley for later, but it's just easier with that out of the way, with the water pump out of the way to do that. I mean, you can do it without it. So I mean, but I went ahead and did that because it needed it. It's really not that big a deal, guys. Just do it. It's seriously easy. I don't know how much different things are because this is a 96. So you've got the electric injection pump, but you still got that old compressor. In 97, they may be different. 95, they may be different. I'm not sure how much the Detroit's changed. I don't think they changed just too much, but I know they changed a little bit with the electronic injection. I'm not sure about when it changed to the newer compressor. I doubt that changed too much. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna get all that stuff bolted back together and fill her up. All right, so now you got this tightened and this tightened, and you got all these bolts tightened, and you got all those bad boys tightened. And oh, and yeah, I didn't show you, but I did put the hose back on and clamped it. So, and then the fun part, you get your mile of extensions, get all your extensions, and come down in here and you just see, you know, you follow her in there and boom, you got her tightened. Oh man, stupid. Come here. There you go. Now you put the old fan clutch and fan on there and belt and shroud and all that stuff, and you're good to go, boys. Oh, and your upper radiator hose. And put your cable back over here, which actually, that's a mess. And then fill her up with coolant, man, know what I'm saying? Whoop. One thing I thought of, since you can't actually fill the radiator itself, you can only fill the reservoir, and that won't drain into the engine until, you know, it starts and the thermostat opens. So I didn't want to do that. So actually what I did while I had this hose off, I connected the hose over here, and then held it up in the air, and I filled it full of antifreeze. I actually put 1 gallon of 100%, a gallon of water, and then there's probably about 1/5 of a gallon left in here, concentrate. And so we'll put the rest of that concentrate in there, and then fill it up with water again, and fill that thing up again, and then purge the system. That's just an idea I thought of to help the engine out just a little bit, to get the motor full. So yeah, I forget to, I have to put the tensioner back on before I can put the belt on, because hello, there's nothing there. Gotta do that real quick. Well, we got the old pulley back on there. I mean, the old belt back on, and tensioner, and it's all good. One thing you want to make sure you got all your belts in the right tracks and stuff. You just go through and check them all, make sure they're all lined up good. I mean, to an extent, they'll straighten themselves out when you start it, but I topped her off with fluid. And you're probably wondering, why aren't you putting this back on? Well, I don't have it yet, so I'm not gonna put it on right now, but I will. I mean, you know, I'll put it on in just a few seconds for you guys. I'm leaving the shroud off for now, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all my tools, because I got tools everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff scattered. So, gotta get that done. We got her done, guys. Wasn't that big of a deal, honestly. Let's see if we can't get this pig to fire up. See if this thing will start. Fired right up. No low water. Woo. Steady she goes, boy. I don't see no leaks. That water was already there. Don't worry about it. It ain't leaking. Oh. Yee. And yes, I know that without the fan, it will overheat, but not for a long time. So I can run it like this for 10 or 15 minutes and it won't overheat. So don't worry, I know that it doesn't have a fan. I'm not gonna be driving it like this. I was just making sure it doesn't leak, because the stuff that I need isn't gonna come in for a few more days. So, you know. Man, guys, look how smooth that harmonic balancer is, man. It ain't even moving, bud. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Does she sound good, or does she sound good, man? She sounds good. All right, so I got the new fan and clutch. I've got to take 4 bolts out of here and install a new fan on the clutch, and I'm going to install that. Let's get her done. So to help you all out, the way that's sitting right now, this side is the front, which is heading towards the front of the vehicle like this. And then this on the fan, it says front. So in other words, slap her down like that, and don't torque that too tight because that's aluminum. So just kind of, you know, put them on there decent, slap it on there. Once you get that fan on there, then you can screw it on here and kind of find the bigger opening, because I think some of the openings are bigger than the others. I may be wrong, but find the bigger opening, and if you got a crescent wrench, stick it on there. If you got a crescent wrench, stick it on there like that. If you don't got one that's big enough like me, and I've got some big ones, but they don't open up that big, stick your pipe wrench on there, and then give that sucker a couple good whacks with a hammer, and that'll be good. All right, then throw your covers and stuff back on. Get your fan shroud back in place and screw down those holes there. Screw it down and call it good. Make sure it don't rub. But right now, actually I'm in the middle of another video with the transmission out of it, so my fan is actually hitting the shroud so much to the point where I can't put it on right now. But that's not, you don't need to know about that. And then so pull your wire back over here, and no, not that one, this one. Pull it back over here and put it on here. Get everything tightened down and you're good to go. Water pump and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. This is a terrible video, but you know what? Now it shows you how to do it in case you didn't like somebody else's video. All right. Thank you for watching.